This is a cold, dark night. The wind kept blowing with cold rain. Although we enjoy the convenience of modern technology, do not forget, we human beings once lived in darkness and ignorance. Then there came the fire. Fire generates heat to keep us warm, and also provided cooked food, which greatly improved our health condition. Its lightness let humans go through the darkness and marching bright future. Though steam engine appears with industrial revolution, later came the electricity, car, train, and flight. As technology advances, we have less chance of directly using fire. Electricity keeps machine running and lights bulbs. Automobiles take people everywhere and deliver goods we need. But do not forget, electricity and running of automobiles are obtained from the combustion process of fire. Fire provides heat and power for all human activities. However, things changed in one day. They say the human produces too much CO2, which causes global warming. Fire becomes bad because it generates CO2. Although CO2 is what we breathe, a young man is thinking all this. He wants to find out if it is true. If CO2 is bad, should we stop all activities? Just imagine a world without electricity. So we have to keep the lights on. It is just like you could not stop eating, although you get stuck sometimes. Maybe we should keep the fire on. Human could not stop moving forward in case of global warming. We are now at the best and also the worst time. Modern technology does not help solve the problem of war, racial discrimination, selfishness, distrust, pollution, and also global warming. But how are we gonna moving forward? I remember Bill McKibben wrote a book on global warming issues, which was really helpful. Online resources provide more description on this issue. I'm going outside to find solutions. The darkness could not stop me working. The wind outside is so strong that the fire is almost blown out. I changed my direction. I enter a cave and continue seeking. I'm looking, I'm thinking, I'm seeking. Wait, is it possible that high temperature causes rising CO2 level? Just like the Coke. CO2 is stored in regular temperature, but if temperature rises, the stored CO2 would come out.
Go back 650,000 years. Here's what the temperature has been on our Earth.
Uses this information to prove that Earth's CO2 and temperature are highly correlated. And they are right. However, a high correlation proves nothing. To give an extreme example, there is a 100% correlation that any human that breathes air will die. But that does not prove that breathing air kills people. Far from it, we would all die if we didn't breathe air. However, when the temperature graph is superimposed over the CO2 graph, it becomes apparent that CO2 tends to follow temperature, not precede it, strongly suggesting that the CO2 does not cause the temperature to change, but the temperature causes CO2 to change.
CO2 lags behind that increase. It's got an 800-year lag, so temperature is leading CO2 by 800 years.
So obviously, carbon dioxide is not the cause of that warming. In fact, we can say that the warming produced the increase in carbon dioxide.
Fundamental assumption, the most fundamental assumption of the whole theory of climate change due to humans is shown to be wrong.
So why do so many scientists adamantly defend the theory of man-caused global warming when the evidence is so weak?
There's a whole cadre of scientists out there that are on what's called soft money. If they do not show a global warming connection, they will not get their next grant, and they're out of a job.
I think that there's a real question here about the sovereignty of the United States.
It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in.
Treaties are one road to global governance. United Nations conferences are another. These global conferences pretend to be democratic conventions of representatives of more than 100 nations who come together to vote for plans they all agree on. Nothing could be further from the truth. The policies are all written ahead of time, and the so-called delegates are manipulated to produce what is called consensus. The consensus is never submitted to Congress.
The consensus process was so firmly planted before the meeting even began that the opening day of the conference, there was consensus.
If this is all true, then all our thinking is wrong. The global warming issue is just a conspiracy that takes global governance. This is why they passed a nasty bill, cap and trade, and tax CO2 produced. CO2 is harmless. They scared us by saying we produce CO2 by doing ordinary things. In fact, nothing would be green without CO2. My dear friends, we are all parts of global warming. This is what I am thinking. How about you?